Am I the asshole for dropping my sister's kids off at a daycare, and making her pay for it? My 19F sister, 25F, asked me to babysit for her, kids are 4 and 6, so she could go a friend's party. I told her I can't do that day, I had an exam so I had to be at college. I can follow some classes online, and have occasionally babysat while listening to lectures. The day for which she needed a babysitter came. I answered the door in the morning and the freaking kids were on my doorstep and my sister was driving off. She just left them with me after I said I couldn't stay home that day. I called a friend that owns a small daycare, she told me I could drop them off there. Thank God. I gave her my sister's contact info to her and told me to keep me updated, and I texted my sister about what happened and gave her the address and the phone number. I picked the kids up from daycare since my sister wasn't answering her phone, and fed them. She picked them up at 9-ish p.m. and was absolutely livid that I left them with a stranger, that it was irresponsible, that something could have happened, etc. I told her that she knew I couldn't babysit that day, and that she could have picked them up if she wasn't comfortable with that since I texted the address. She told me I should have just skipped the exam to retake it later. I thought this was a reasonable thing to do, when someone leaves kids on your doorstep without warning and you can't take care of them, but my parents are on her side. My mom told me my sister already has so much on her plate, and that I should help out when I can. I guess babysitting at least one day a week for free isn't good enough. Am I the asshole? Edit. She and her friends went to an escape room or something, it wasn't a regular party. My parents weren't home that day to babysit. And you can retake exams here, but it's a hassle and it means that if I fail I can't retake it. Just to clear some things up. I'm sorry if this post seemed obvious. Having both my sister and both my parents say that I was in the wrong made me doubt myself. Not the asshole. You should text her. Do not leave your children on my doorstep unless you have made prior arrangements with me and I have agreed to watch them. The arrangements and consent need to be in writing via text. If you do this again, I will call CPS instead of a daycare and I will show them that I have made all of this clear to you. I love my nibblings very much. But they are your responsibility. I am not your co-parent. Edit. Show. Thanks for all the sparkly stuff y'all. Tell your mother that a party is not a responsibility. Tests, good grades, work, all responsibilities. She knew what she did was wrong. Total abandonment. Not the asshole. Your sister is lucky. When someone leaves kids on your doorstep without warning after you've explicitly said you couldn't take care of them, you might otherwise call the police or CPS. Tell her this is your other option, and you'll do that next time. Oh, and stop watching her kids for her until or unless she learns to respect you. Maybe not even then. I can't get over the part about her just driving off and then not accepting your calls, too. What if you were already gone for the day? Now she's left the 4 and 6-yo outside alone for 12+ hours. WTH is she thinking? Not the asshole X1000. Not the asshole, it was quite a mature move from your side. My mom told me my sister already has so much on her plate, and that I should help out when I can. But you couldn't. You said you couldn't. Lack of planning, etc. Don't put up with this. You are not the asshole. Not the asshole. Tell your sister next time you will just call the cops for child abandonment. Thank your mom for volunteering to watch the kids next time there's a party your sister wants to go to, as going you have things on your plate too. So, let me get this straight, your sister, a grown-ass woman with not one, but 2 kids, asked you to let her get drunk and ditch your university exam. Then when told no she just went by and dropped the kids at your door like third-period French, and now you're asking if you should feel bad for taking care of them despite all this? I think you're good. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, but definitely stop babysitting for free and don't answer any texts asking for it. Am I the asshole for telling my sister I don't care what happens to her child and she would be an awful mother? The title sounds literally awful and I feel awful. My 17F sister, Veronica, 19F, accidentally got pregnant. I think having a little niece or nephew would be nice, but whatever Veronica wants to do is fine by me. She decided to keep it and my parents are beyond ecstatic. Veronica and I aren't close, she was barely home growing up and my parents both left for work at 6 a.m. and got back just in time for dinner. I basically raised my little siblings, K, 11M, M, 14F, and C, 13F. Me and my little siblings are really close and spend most of our time together, but Veronica always relied on friends. Veronica tries her best to disturb peace in the family, causing fights with my sisters over little things like spraying too much perfume or commenting on their looks, But whenever we fight with her she threatens to abort her child as if we are going to drop to our knees and beg her not to. My parents protect her in every fight and think she can do no wrong because she is blessing them with their first grandbaby. Over the past few weeks I've been working hard to buy a gift for C. Just an expensive perfume she wants, which was about $110, expensive, I know, but she was really wanting it. Not even 2 days into her having it, her and Veronica got into a fight over God knows what. Veronica took the perfume and a few of her other belongings and threw them off the balcony. This pissed me off so much, because not only did I spend so much on that but also that was C's stuff that she valued. C was crying while M was consoling her. Veronica was staring at her with a smirk on her face as if she was proud of being a fully grown adult and destroying a barely teenager's stuff. I went absolutely crazy on Veronica, essentially telling her to go fuck herself. She started saying, "I dare you to hit me. I'll get rid of this baby. I don't give a fuck." I was confused as this had nothing to do with her kid and I said, "I don't care what happens to that thing. You'd be an awful mother anyways." My parents came to her rescue and told me to either get over myself or move out. So I said, okay, and went to my boyfriend's house. I've been getting calls and texts from my parents and Veronica telling me to come back and talk this out. Also saying I'm an awful person for saying this to my poor sister. I feel bad, but my boyfriend is telling me that they are treating me like shit and he doesn't think I should go back there unless I really want to. So am I the asshole? Not the asshole, but your parents' asshole along with Veronica. 1. For the parentification. 2. For prioritizing their unborn grandchild over the well-being of the actual minor they are responsible for. I would not be surprised if they expect you to be heavily involved in childcare once this baby is born, since the mom hardly seems responsible. Not the asshole. The only response their texts deserve is, has Veronica apologized to C and replaced her belongings yet? Your boyfriend is right and you should stay miles away. If Veronica wants to cause property damage, she can deal with some harsh words in response. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. She absolutely would be an awful mother. Your poor younger sister. Veronica is batshit crazy and your parents are acting completely useless as parents in this situation. Not the asshole. Your sister has weaponized that baby and it's so beyond wrong. I don't think you are too far off on the assumption of her being a crappy mom. She sounds like a crappy human. Not the asshole. The asshole here are Veronica and your parents. She's constantly threatening terminating her pregnancy. That does make her a crappy parent. There are so many people out there who want kids and can't have them, and then this asshole acts the way she does. Makes me sick. She needs to grow the hell up. Your parents are suckers too. I agree with your boyfriend 100%. Stay with your boyfriend. Let them deal with your psycho sister. Not the asshole. You're standing up against a bully. But your parents are too enamored with the grandchild thing that they won't listen to a thing you say anyway. Not the asshole. Fuck ya mama, daddy, sister and her fetus. Am I the asshole I removed all my stepkids' bed, clothes, toys from the room I use as an office? Throw away. My partner, M38, and I, F32, have been together for 8 years. He has 2 amazing girls from his old relationship, 9 and 11. We get them every weekend from Fridays after school and take them to school Monday mornings. Their mum is only 30 miles away and school is only 15. I love these girls. I have since I first met them, which was why, when we built our house, I made sure it had enough space for them inside and outside. We built our house 5 years ago. My kidlets were still young enough they wanted to share a room. Mum's house is 2 bedrooms, so it was normal. I work 2 different jobs. One job is mornings from 6:30 a.m. to 9 a.m., then 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. I also do in-home support for the elderly from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and I am also currently studying a 2-year diploma. But aside from that, both my job requires filling out paperwork and doing admin from home. Our house has 4 bedrooms. I took the smallest of them, with a high-low windows, to turn into my office. This space is super important. It lets me focus on my work, it's quiet, I don't have to stress about the dishes needing to be done or what to do for dinner like I used to at our old house when my office was the kitchen table. I would always end up preparing dinner or cleaning instead of my work. I came home from 2 nights away, not the weekend, helping my Sil's grandmother prepare to move into a nursing home. When I went to put away all the paperwork we filled out into my filing drawers, my office was gone. Instead there was my 11-year-old kidlet's bed, chest of drawers, her toys and books. I freaked out. I asked my partner why he did it. He said that 11 years wanted her own room now, and he thought the computer room would be best. He then said that I am always in there and that he thinks I should set up my office at the kitchen island because, that way I'm not shutting myself away. I said thanks for thinking of me and my supposed isolation, but I need my office. I had everything in order. One wall was painted a calming blue, green. I had everything where I needed it, and stressed so much less. He said I was being ungrateful and that this was no longer the computer room, and I had to get over it. He has never behaved like this. The next day I moved all my kidlets' things into the empty bigger room. I even went and got wooden letters that spelled out both girls' names for us to paint and put on the walls of their rooms. My partner said my reaction was over the top, that I was being petty and selfish. I was putting my needs before his child's, and that 11 years old wanted my office room specifically. He said it was because she wanted to be closer to me. Maybe I did overreact. It is just a room and I could have just set up in the larger room, but this is the room I have, I guess, emotionally invested in. It is my space. He wants me to apologize. Am I the asshole in this situation? Should I say sorry to him for overreacting? Not the asshole. Wait. There's an entire unused bedroom, and instead of moving the 11-yo into that one, he dismantled your office and told you to work in the kitchen instead? In the home that you built and helped pay for? And you're wondering if you're the asshole? I know that you want to step carefully because you don't want to unintentionally damage your relationship with your 11-yo, but this is entirely a partner problem. Not the asshole. Your husband taking over your office was unreasonable considering there was a bigger room that was available. The office was your space, a space that you needed to properly do your work. You didn't overreact, you simply readjusted the situation so that it worked for everyone, including you. He should apologize to you, specifically for doing that without discussing it with you first. Not the asshole. What the hell? Why would he feel it's better to take over the room you've been working in rather than the bigger already empty room? Not the asshole, he didn't talk with you at all before moving your work documents. The middle of a kitchen is no place for work. Not the asshole, can we point out that he calls her office a computer room? WTF. Not the asshole. This should have ended when you pointed out that he didn't consult you on a homemaking decision. Your husband is telling you loud and clear that he makes all the decision in your marriage. Speak up or walk. This is one of the seemingly small "am I the asshole" that invokes my inner rage monster. The audacity to do such a thing in the first place. Never mind trying to explain it in a way that makes you the baddie. Outfucking rageous. This is a hill on which I die, and is a perfect example of how to set a boundary and stick to it for the kids, as long as they can understand why you liked the office where it was and don't feel any blame. We know where the blame lies. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The telling statement from your husband was that you were locking yourself away. This is not about the kid or the room, it's about your husband's issues with your working and being out of his visual space. I don't know what that is about, but I'd recommend you focus on that part of what happened and figure out what is behind that. Something is triggering his insecurity and need to control. You can always bail, but I'd probably engage with my DH on this part of the event. Am I the asshole for doing my niece's hair? So in June 2021 it was my first time seeing my niece, 13F, in a couple months. My niece and I are both African American and my niece has 4C hair. When her hair is combed out her afro reaches her shoulders. However, when I saw her, her hair was matted to her head. It was so short I thought maybe she had shaved the sides and it had grown out a bit since then. So I asked her when she cut it and she told me she didn't. That's when I realized her hair was matted. A couple months go by and her mom posted a picture of her first day back to school and I noticed that my niece was wearing a wig. And that let me know they still probably hadn't done it. I saw my niece a few more times after that and every time her hair was still matted and she was always wearing a cap or wig. I hadn't seen my niece in 4/5-ish months until yesterday when she stayed over for a sleepover with my daughter. And her hair was still in the same state. For some background info, my brother is not in the picture and my niece lives with her mom and grandma with 3 other sisters, and her mom's sisters are always coming over. All those girls in that house and nobody bothered to do my niece's hair for months? And my other niece's hair are always done every time I see them. She's the only one who never has it done. I decided enough was enough and washed and combed through her hair. Which almost took 7 hours because how tangled it was. I played it off like, I heard spring photos are soon, do you want me to do your hair? So that my niece wouldn't be embarrassed about it. I was going to send her back with an afro but then I thought what if it just got matted again? So I decided to give her some box braids so that they would last a while and all she would have to worry about is putting mousse on it, sleeping with a cap, and doing her edges. I braided it down to mid-rib cage and I braided the braids small enough she could put them in different hairstyles but not small enough it's unbearable to take out. I don't know what reaction I was expecting but when her mom saw her hair she lost it. She accused me of thinking her daughter had nappy hair and that I just did it for money when I had no intention of charging her. Now I'm in shock. I don't feel like I'm in the wrong but I was not expecting such a nasty reaction. Am I the asshole? Edit. A lot have assumed my niece's mom is white but she's black and my niece is not biracial. Her mom also has 4C hair and knows how to take care of it, she just chooses not to. Not the asshole. Guilty consciences tend to get defensive when they know they're in the wrong. You did an absolutely lovely thing for your niece. Not the asshole, they should be ashamed of themselves for neglecting your niece like that. Good on you for taking care of her, you put in some serious work and she deserves to be cared for. Not the asshole. Your poor niece. That must have been uncomfortable and embarrassing for her to have been left like that. Does her mother have the same hair type? Maybe you could teach your niece how to look after her hair? Not the asshole. The key takeaway to this is that all the other women's hair is done. The other niece's hair is done. Is the niece in question the only one whose dad is out of the picture? Because I can see lazy parent if it was all the nieces. Just one not getting help with her hair? Sounds like something is afoot. Keep an eye on your niece, op. She didn't yell at you in that manner for nothing. Not the asshole. Her hair was matted so badly that it took 7 hours to fix. That's massive neglect. Not the asshole. I'm very concerned about this, actually. Why is it only her hair that isn't taken care of? Surely, if she was tender-headed or worse that would have come up in those 7 hours. This situation reminds me of the book, A Child Called It. Usually I would say yeah, when people touch another child's hair, but absolutely not in this case. What her mom is doing is a form of neglect. You're absolutely not the asshole. Why is she neglecting her? And, all her sisters have their hair done? Makes me wonder even more. If it keeps happening in the future, secretly report the mom to be honest. This is not okay. Not the asshole. What's the likelihood that mom is overwhelmed and this niece is the one doing the younger one's hair? Speaking from my own experience, I can style other people's hair but I'm hopeless with my own. This might be worth an adults-only talk with mom and grandma once everyone has had a chance to calm down, just to make sure all your nieces are getting the support they need.